Hey everyone, welcome back to Life and Language Podcast channel. I'm Ben. I've actually been in a really good mood this week, and I've been trying to figure out why. And I think I finally worked it out. So today we're talking about something that I think explains a lot about how humans stay motivated, and honestly, it changed the way I think about my own habits. Have you ever started a big goal? Maybe learning a new language, getting fit, saving money, and felt amazing for about 3 days, and then just stopped. Yeah, me too. So why does that happen? And more importantly, what actually keeps people going long term? That's what today's episode is all about.
But first, a question, and this one is genuinely interesting. Research suggests that when people track small daily progress toward a goal, they are more likely to stick with it. So here's the question. According to motivation researchers, roughly what percentage of people who set New Year's resolutions give up within the first month? Is it A, around 20%, B, around 40%, or C, around 60%? So, is it A, B, or C? I'm going to guess B, 40%. That feels right to me, but honestly, I'm not confident. We'll find out the answer before the end of the episode. Alright, so let's get into it. The idea I want to explore today is called the small wins theory. Now, a win here doesn't mean winning a competition or achieving something huge. In psychology, a win is any moment of progress, no matter how minor, that your brain registers as a success. And scientists have found that these tiny moments are incredibly powerful for motivation. Here's why. When you make even a small step forward, your brain releases a chemical called dopamine. Dopamine, that's the brain's reward chemical, the thing that makes you feel good and want to do something again. It's the same chemical that fires when you eat something delicious or hear a song you love. And the fascinating thing is that your brain can't always tell the difference between a huge win and a tiny one. Crossing one item off a to-do list can trigger the same basic reward response as finishing a major project. This is the foundation of what psychologists call incremental progress. Incremental means happening in very small steps over time, like climbing a staircase one step at a time instead of trying to jump to the top. And the research consistently shows that people who focus on incremental progress stay more motivated over longer periods than people who are only looking at the big final goal. There's also a concept here called self-efficacy. Albert Bandura means your belief in your own ability to succeed at something. When you experience small wins regularly, your self-efficacy grows. You start to genuinely believe you can do it because you have evidence. You've done it before, even in a small way. That belief becomes its own fuel. And the opposite is also true when people skip the small steps and aim only for massive results. They often feel like failures before they've really begun, which destroys their motivation entirely. I asked a few people what they think about this idea. Here's what they told me. The first person said, I used to think if I couldn't do a full 1-hour workout, there was no point going to the gym at all. Then I started just doing 15 minutes on the bad days. Now I go almost every day, because the 15-minute version is easy enough, that I never talk myself out of it. The second person said, I'm learning Spanish, and I started keeping a little notebook where I write down every new word I actually use, in a real conversation. I look back at that notebook sometimes, and I genuinely can't believe how much I've learned. It keeps me going. And the third person said, honestly, I still find this hard. I know the logic, but I get impatient. I want to be fluent now, or be good at guitar now. The small steps thing is real, I just have to keep reminding myself. I love that last one because it's so honest. And it actually brings me to something really important. The reasons why small wins are hard to stick with, even when we understand them. The first big reason is what psychologists call outcome focus. Outcome focus means you're so fixed on the final result, the finished product, the end goal, that you can't see or feel the value of the steps along the way. Our culture really encourages this. Social media shows us people's highlight reels, their big moments, their transformations, their finished results. Nobody posts about their boring Tuesday gym session, and so we start to feel like small progress doesn't count. But here's the twist. The science says it counts more than almost anything else. The second reason is something called the motivation dip. The motivation dip is the well-documented drop in energy and enthusiasm that almost everyone experiences a few weeks into a new habit or project. The initial excitement fades, and suddenly the goal feels far away and the effort feels large. This is the exact moment when small wins do their most important work. If you've been tracking your progress, you can look back and see real evidence that you've moved forward. That evidence, not willpower, not inspiration, is what carries you through the dip. And the third piece of the puzzle is environment design. Environment design means intentionally shaping your surroundings to make good habits easier and bad habits harder. Something as simple as leaving your language learning notebook on your desk, or putting your running shoes by the door, reduces the friction. Friction meaning the resistance or difficulty. Between you and taking that small step, researchers at MIT found that environmental cues are one of the strongest predictors of whether someone maintains a new behavior long-term, more so than motivation or intention alone. Before we wrap up, let's quickly go through today's words so they really stick. Dopamine, the brain's reward chemical that makes you feel good and want to repeat a behavior. Here's a sentence. Every time I finished a chapter of my book, I felt a hit of dopamine that made me want to keep reading. Incremental, happening gradually in very small steps over time. Here's a sentence. Her incremental improvement in pronunciation was slow, but impossible to ignore after 6 months. Self-efficacy, your belief in your own ability to succeed at a task. Here's a sentence. Small wins built his self-efficacy until he truly believed he could finish the marathon. Outcome focus, being so fixed on the final result that you miss the value of progress along the way. Here's a sentence. Her outcome focus made her give up after 2 weeks because she wasn't where she wanted to be yet. Motivation dip, the natural drop in enthusiasm that happens after the initial excitement of a new goal fades. Here's a sentence. Knowing the motivation dip was coming helped me push through instead of quitting. Friction, the resistance or difficulty that stands between you and taking action. Here's a sentence. I reduced friction by preparing everything for my morning run the night before. And environment design, the practice of shaping your surroundings to support good habits. Here's a sentence. Good environment design means your healthy choice becomes the easy choice. Okay, quiz answer time. The answer is C. Around 60% of people who set New Year's resolutions give up within the first month. I guessed B, which means I was wrong. 40% felt like a lot to me, but 60% is genuinely staggering, and it makes complete sense in light of everything we talked about today. People set enormous goals, skip the small wins, hit the motivation dip around week 3, and give up because they have no evidence of progress to hold on to. So if I could give you one takeaway from today's episode, it's this. Don't wait for a big result to feel like you're succeeding. Find one thing, one tiny thing that you can do today, track it, and let your brain celebrate it. That's not lowering the bar. That's how people actually cross it. Comment, practice, and I'll reply with today's phrase. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.